Very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News here on TV1. You're joining me, David Paldano. Now, before we head into your stories in more detail, let's first take a look at your headlines this afternoon. The second COVID-19 vaccine doses to be provided from tomorrow. 3,755 arrested for violating COVID regulations. 509 schools in the Kegal district closed. Chinese Defence Minister to arrive in the island today. A train carrying oxygen reaches New Delhi, India. Representatives of the European Union meet opposition leader. Now taking a look at your headline-making stories, all schools in the Kegal district that comes under the purview will remain closed until Friday, the 30th of April. The Kegal district extends up to the northwestern and the western province. There are teachers that come from those areas. The attendance of students is at 50%. So we have decided to close down provincial schools until the 30th.
All schools, preschools and Priven institutes in the western and northwestern provinces were closed until the 30th of April. Meanwhile, it has been decided to close 15 schools in 3 education divisions in the Monragala district, according to the district secretary Gunadasa Samarasinghe. He said that 5 schools in the Monragala education division, 6 schools in the Siambalandu education division and 4 schools in the Buttal education division will be closed until the 30th of April. Meanwhile, it was recently decided to close all schools in the Trincomalee region until further notice. 2 Gram Nildari divisions in the Matale and Polonnaru districts have been isolated. Army Commander General Shavendra Silva said that the Palle Kumura Gram Nildari division in the Ukuela Police division in Matale was isolated from 6 a.m. today. The Siriketa Gram Nildari division in the Higurag Gode Police division in Polonnaru was also isolated from 6 a.m. today.
The State Ministry of Production, Supply and Regulation of Pharmaceuticals said the inoculation of the second dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine will commence tomorrow. State Minister of Production, Supply and Regulation of Pharmaceuticals, Channa Jayasumana, said frontline workers will be given priority.
The second dose of the COVID-19 jab will first be administered to frontline healthcare workers. In the order, the jab was given in the first phase of the vaccination drive. Frontline healthcare workers and personnel of the Tri-Forces combating the pandemic will receive the second dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. In addition, the Russian government has confirmed that steps are being taken to provide the Sputnik V vaccine to Sri Lanka. Discussions are underway about the logistics aspects for the vaccine to be brought down. Confirmation is yet to be received regarding the times that the aircraft carrying the vaccine will arrive in Sri Lanka. However, Sri Lanka will receive the vaccine within the coming week.
Sri Lanka police have arrested 108 people for the failure to wear face masks and maintain social distancing in a 24-hour window that ended this morning. Police media spokesperson DIG Ajit Rohana said 3,755 people have been arrested for the violation of quarantine regulations since 30th October last year to date. DIG Ajit Rohana said that the majority of such arrests were made during quarantine operations conducted in the Western Province. He said stern action will be taken against the quarantine lawbreakers. An operation to monitor if the COVID-19 health guidelines are being followed by the general public was carried out in Anuradhapura today. The police inspected all vehicles and warnings were given to those who did not wear face masks. 173 new COVID-19 cases were detected from the Colombo district, marking it to be the highest number of COVID-19 cases to be reported from the country during the past 24 hours. Accordingly, with 997 cases identified in the country during the past 24 hours, the total number of cases has increased to 102,376.
Meanwhile, ambassadors of the European Union called on opposition leader Sajid Premadasa for talks in Colombo today. Representatives of the European Union, led by the ambassador and head of the delegation of the European Union to Sri Lanka and the Maldives, Denis Chaibi, met with opposition leader Sajid Premadasa at the opposition leader's office this morning. According to our correspondent, Ambassador Denis Chaibi is accompanied by German Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Holger Seubert, the Ambassador of France in Sri Lanka, Eric Lavertu, and the Ambassador of Romania, Dr. Victor C.
විශේෂයෙන්ම අපේ රටේ ජනතාවගේ මානව අයිතිවාසිකම්.
Discussions were held regarding many topics including human, civil, economic, social, political, religious, cultural and human rights. Several topics including issues the country is facing and financial aid we can get were discussed this morning. Further discussions will be carried out this evening. This meeting will add value to the nation.
අගයක් එකතු කරන හමුවීමක්.
The land of the Kolopitiya supermarket that belongs to the Colombo Municipal Council has been vested with the Urban Development Authority. This transfer of ownership was made through an extraordinary gazette issued by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa in his capacity as the Minister of Urban Development and Housing. Previously, the Kolopitiya supermarket complex came under the purview of the Colombo Municipal Council. Meanwhile, in more local news, China's Defence Minister General Wei Fenghe will arrive in Sri Lanka this evening on an official visit until the 29th of April this year. General Wei Fenghe was appointed to head the Ministry of National Defence of the Republic of China at the 13th National People's Congress on the 19th of March 2018.
General Wei Feng joined the People's Liberation Army in December 1970 and the Communist Party of China in January 1972. He is a graduate of the PLA National Defence University, where he majored in Coordinated Operations Command and was awarded a bachelor degree. The Department of Government Information said during the visit, China's State Councillor and Defence Minister General Wei Feng is scheduled to call on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa.
The police stated that former Minister Rishad Bathiuddin and his brother Riyaj Bathiuddin, who were arrested by the Criminal Investigation Department, will be detained for a period of 90 days for questioning. They were arrested on the 24th on charges of aiding and abetting the suicide bombers involved in the April 21st attacks.
Ex-Minister and Member of Parliament Richard Badruddin was arrested by the officers of Criminal Investigation Department on the 24th of April 2021 in Colombo 7 area. In addition to that, his brother was arrested on the same day. Thereafter, Director CID had obtained a detention order in terms of the provisions of Section 6(1) of the Prevention of Terrorism Act for a period of 72 hours. The detention order is terminating this morning. Accordingly, in terms of the provisions of the Section 9(1) of the Prevention of Terrorism Act, a detention order has been obtained for a period of 90 days in order to conduct further investigations in respect of two suspects. Accordingly, further investigations will be carried out by TID and CID in order to ascertain the scientific evidence, oral evidence, documentary evidence, and other technological evidence in respect of the incident. Especially, they were arrested on the offences of aiding and abetting to suicide bombers, and TID and CID are conducting further investigations.
The Railway Station Masters Association alleges that there are attempts to privatize the Department of Railways.
The highest post in the railway department is station master. That post has been vacant for more than 1.5 months. An acting station master is on duty. Interviews were conducted in a department level by the relevant engineer in order to select the suitable candidate. It has been several days since the interview. Still, a candidate is not selected. 2 trade unions are influencing this process while holding the passengers ransom. It is clear to us by now that there is an attempt to privatize railway department. It is the general public that will be affected if this department, which provides transport to everyone, be privatized. We are against it. We have conducted workshops regarding certain operations of the Asian Development Bank. We don't know the reason behind these attempts of bringing station masters from outside. The Engineers Association will sort to a trade union action from the 5th of next month because of the issue surrounding the station master post. Accordingly, if this issue is not resolved, we will also initiate a trade union action.
News First, the voice of the people. A wounded elephant caught in a snare was found from the Min area of a national hospital.
Officers of the Wildlife Veterinary Unit took the necessary steps to subdue the elephant and rescue it from the snare. It is believed that the snare was set up by hunters. The elephant caught in the snare is 7 feet tall and is aged 15 years. After 2 hours of strenuous effort, the elephant was rescued and released to the Minneria National Park.
Meanwhile, the Satyagraha campaign launched by the farmers across the island continues.
Today is the 101st day of the Valsapugala farmers' Satyagraha, demanding the proper gazetting of an elephant management reserve and publication of its regulations in order to protect the forest so that elephants can live in it. Today marks the 43rd day of the Satyagraha launched by the farmers of Galgamur in support of the Valsapugala farmers who are demanding a scientific solution to the everlasting human-elephant conflict. Meanwhile, today marks the 42nd consecutive day of the Satyagraha launched by the farmers of Mahiangania in support of the Valsapugala farmers. National organizer of the All Ceylon Farmers Federation, Namal Karunaratna too, expressed his support to the Satyagraha last night. Today marks the 40th consecutive day of the Satyagraha carried out in Madhavachia, demanding proper solutions to the human-elephant conflict. A group of members of the Ceylon Teachers Union joined in support of the Satyagraha last evening.
News First, the voice of the people.
Amid the crisis in India, the World Health Organization chief voiced alarm yesterday, saying the organization was rushing to help address the crisis.
The situation in India is beyond heartbreaking. WHO is doing everything we can, providing critical equipment and supplies, including thousands of oxygen concentrators, prefabricated mobile field hospitals, and laboratory supplies. WHO has redeployed more than 2,600 staff to support the response on the ground, providing support for surveillance, technical advice, and vaccination efforts.
And with that, we wrap up lunchtime news here on TV1. For more news, log on to our award-winning website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I'm David Paldano. Take care.